happy that you are here tonight and that you took time out of your day to join us. Oh my gosh, anytime that I can get together with Eileen and share information it just warms my heart, because we are like two peas in a pod. We think alike, we believe similar things, and we share a diagnosis, initial diagnosis, right, Eileen, of MS.
Yes.
So I have an MS diagnosis. I don't know if I have other things, but I may. Eileen, that was her first diagnosis, and she'll tell you about that later. So I'm basically going to introduce myself. I'm going to tell you about Wednesday Wellness, and then I'm going to turn it over to Eileen, because she put together a phenomenal presentation and that she's so excited to share with you all. So at Wellness Wednesday, we're here to share information about how to be well, to get well and stay well, right? Isn't that what we're all looking for in life? I mean, I know I was 17 when I was diagnosed with MS. I was an athlete. I was what I thought was a really healthy person. And you know what? It doesn't matter. And that's what we're going to share tonight. We're going to share some tools. This may go on for a series. We'll see how this goes tonight, right, Eileen? And we're probably going to make this a series, because there's so much information to share, so many tools, so many aspects between the mind, body, spirit, and our activators that, really impacts autoimmune disease in general and MS. So again, I was diagnosed when I was 17. This is now over 37 years later. What my autoimmune condition looked like in May of 2013 was that I had been dragging myself through life for 30 years. I was not walking. I was using a cane to get to my car, very short distances. I was just talking to somebody about how boutiques were my thing, because, I could park if I needed to shop, I could park pull right up to it, because never would I go to a mall. I mean, it definitely wasn't enjoyable like it used to be. Just, being fatigued and off balance and fatigued and weak and not working. And I am anything but that today. And so we're going to share some information, very exciting information only. Be open to taking a look at the what if, because I just celebrated my 30th anniversary yesterday. And outside of marrying my husband and having 2 children, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. So I'm going to introduce Eileen. She has been a warrior on her health journey for over 20 years, with herself, and her daughter also has been on this healing journey. And so she has 3 children. Like I said, she has an autoimmune diagnosis, and she's like me. She's a teacher. I have my master's in education. I don't know if you even knew that, Eileen, but Eileen is a natural born teacher, which is a great asset to have in this industry as well. She is also a pianist, and she's excellent. She's all heart. And I can't honestly introduce you to a kinder soul that I have ever met. And so she has been gleaning for over 20 plus years. And so today we are going to have a 30 minutes. We're going to stick to 30 minutes. We're going to have a question and answer at the end. And honestly, that's like the secret time. That is like the secret sauce, I'm going to say, because you never know what's going to come up, and people just can contribute whatever questions they have. And we will be sure to answer them. So I'm going to turn it over to Eileen. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's do this. I will make sure everybody's muted as they come in, and let's see this presentation.
All right. Well, thank you, Kim. I am so excited to be here, because I didn't know this would be my journey. I honestly was one of those people who did not pay attention to health. I did not know eating healthy and doing all that kind of stuff made a difference. I was an outdoors girl. I saw myself traveling. I was an adventurer. I did skydiving, white water rafting. I was going to have these beautiful babies and teach them through traveling. Everything was going great until my third baby was on her way. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And 6 weeks after that third baby was born, my health plummeted, and I did not expect it. And I spent the next 15 years just looking for solutions. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys tonight, because I would not be here if I didn't find something that actually made a difference across the board. I did so many therapies that, yeah, this one helped this person, but you know what? I tried it and it didn't work for me, or this worked for them. What is universal? What is something that is actual viable information that can be for everybody? And that's what I want to share. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And don't give away my slides. I don't know how to do this more smoothly. Okay. So this was me. If any of you have experienced this, do you ever feel like you are a dog chasing your tail, trying to find answers? Oh. I kept looking. I kept trying. And then I would just go, okay, throw up my hands. I'm going to sustain for a little while. I'm going to just ignore the disease. I'm going to just not do it. And then something would happen and boom, I would be back in the rat race, chasing my tail again to no avail, with no real quality of life. So this is me and my family. Obviously, I was diagnosed through all of this journey time, but this is my passion. I wanted to be the perfect mom. I wanted to be the mom that was there for them. And so we're going to talk about that as we go along. As we leave tonight, I do want you to have at least 2 things. One, hope. Hope that there is a bright light out there, that there is something that can make a difference across the board for you, no matter what severity you are, how healthy you are. What is hope for you? And then give you some options, tools, and some resources. So the big mother of this whole thing, we've all heard it, inflammation. We all know that inflammation is what happens when we go into the hospital with an inflammatory response. They feed us what, guys? They feed us steroids. Why? Because it gets down inflammation like that. It squashes inflammation. So that's what the big thing is. But why are we getting all this inflammation? This is what I didn't know. But here we are in 2021. And anybody who tells you your body cannot heal and repair, you just plug your ears and sing la, 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 la. Because you guys, we have a rover on Mars. We can see universes away with telescopes. With the microscopes we have now, we can see the smallest particle in existence called the atom. Do not tell me we do not know how to make our bodies work. We had a computer, we had a telephone, we mixed them together, and we now have a smartphone. Please, please hear this message. Our bodies are designed to heal and repair. So let's talk about what multiple sclerosis is.
Many people, including
multiple sclerosis is. It is the most widespread disabling neurological condition of young adults around the world. Mostly people are diagnosed between the ages of 20 and 50. My first diagnosis came at age 30. So if we look at this map, when I first got diagnosed, I looked into it quite a bit. And they said it was a disease of 40 degrees north on the globe and 40 degrees south, that people in the middle really do not have the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. And the hypothesis was that at the equator, you have temperate temperatures all year round. You have equal amount of sun. And so those people really don't get multiple sclerosis. And so it's really interesting. If you look here, you have really highly industrialized countries, and they are all above 40 degrees north on the equator. So as you look at the statistics also, in 1985, 4 people were diagnosed per 100,000. In 2007, 10 per 100,000. That's 2.5 times higher in just 20 years. We do not know this. And so it's really interesting. If you look here, you have really highly industrialized countries, and they are all above 40 degrees north on the equator. So as you look at the statistics also, in 1985, 4 people were diagnosed per 100,000. In 2007, 10 per 100,000. That's 2.5 times higher in just 20 years. We do not want that to keep going. And also, if you look at this also reiterates the fact of the 40-degree north latitude line on the planet, because the southern states have half of the cases that the northern states do. So what we need to do is look at that and what can we do to make a difference? So multiple sclerosis is an unpredictable disease of the central nervous system that disrupts the flow of information within the brain, between the brain and the body. So what we're talking about are nerves here, you guys. And if you can see my hands, our nerves don't touch each other. Our nerves are like this, and then they have myelin sheaths on them. So it's kind of like an electrical connection that we put electrical tape on. Well, what happens in the demyelinization of the inflammation process with multiple sclerosis is it eats those myelin sheaths. So if we look at this, over here we have the healthy myelin, right? Over here you can see where it has been eaten away. So when that happens, you have a miscommunication, you have a delayed communication, you have symptoms that come because of that demyelinization. And even pain is part of that. And so when we diagnose it or we look at it, we're looking at an MRI. This is a neurotypical brain here on the left. And on the right, you can see that demyelinization. This is the result after the inflammation. This is the scar tissue that remains. So what can we do to make a difference? That's what we want to talk about. What can we do to prevent possibly the occurrence of this and to have our body heal and repair? So there's multiple types of MS. And I just had this discussion today with someone. She goes, but I have relapsing remitting MS. This won't apply to me. Please hear me, you guys. Whether it's relapsing remitting, secondary progressive, primary progressive, whether it's transverse myelitis, neuromyelitis optica, Guillain-Barré, or another autoimmune diagnosis, we all have the same core, and that's what we're going to talk about. And so it really doesn't matter which derivative of the disease process you're experiencing, because what we've been looking at are symptoms. It's not the core issue, which is what we're going to address. So here on the right-hand side of this, you're seeing a lot of the symptoms that you may be familiar with. I went through and I put a check mark on every single one I have experienced or am still experiencing. And I actually, you can see I got almost all of them because it's over 23 years. But this is the good news, you guys. I really want you to hear this. And so I'm going to stop share for just 1 second because I need you to hear this. So think of it as being in debt with your money. If you were $1,000 in debt, you can make a few changes, not go to Starbucks, change your budget just a little bit to come out of that debt. However, if you're $100,000 in debt, which for most of us, that's a lot of money, and that's going to take some major reconstruction of our finances and bringing in extra finances, right? Your health is the same thing. If you're at the beginning of this, or if you haven't even been diagnosed yet, your ability to climb out of that is so much faster than someone who has been in it longer. And to be honest, you guys, I was 17 years in. I thought there was no hope for me. I had given up. I did give up. I went to my doctor. I just said, I can't do this anymore. There's no more fight left in me. Just let me exist. That's what I want you to know. If you haven't been diagnosed, that's great, because you know what? You can take action today. Still go through, do what you need to do medically, but you can take actions today. What you have done has gotten you here, and I'll show you why that is. But beyond all of this, part of the, oh, come on, work for me. What we have missed, in my opinion, the physical aspect is painful and hurtful, but the emotional side is a challenge. Your emotional side of your relationships with yourself, your family, your spouse, your children, your feelings of hopelessness, feelings of failure. That's what I felt. Finances, they're out the window. What if you can't work anymore? You're in a time prison now. You cannot regulate your time, because if you're like me, I spent time in doctors and hospitals and then a kid's event once in a while when I felt well enough. You're in a mobility prison because now you can't run and play with your kids, which you dreamed of doing if that's your thing. And then the fear. I know when I was on my up times, I was in fear of the food I was eating. I was always on guard. And it does not feed you to do that, because stress brings on the inflammation. So I was chasing my symptoms and not really progressing. This was my life. I had a boatload of supplements. I took them all the time, and I still had my challenges. This is just a list of the 40 plus therapies and things I changed in my life that I tried. I traveled to Washington State. I traveled to California. We moved houses from Colorado to Georgia to Florida, back to Arizona. We went a lot of places trying to change my environment to help me have any kind of quality of life. When I found a therapist in Las Vegas that helped me, I actually traveled to Las Vegas for a year, a week at a time, every month, just for that therapy, because I was going to do whatever I could to stay afloat. And what I want to share with you is the best of all of that. I want you to take a break. Think about this. Your car doesn't start. Oh man, what are you going to do? You're going to push it. Well, what's the cure for the car? Gasoline. Can you put water in it? Not going to work. What about juice boxes? No, the juice from the juice boxes. You have to get gasoline, because it's what makes the car run. When we're looking at our health, are we really looking at the core issue? Or are we looking at the symptoms? The symptoms was the car didn't start. The cure was feeding it correctly. And that's the same with our body. And so we know 3 things about our body. Cells have the same structure across all mammals. We all have sirtuins, NAD, we all have mitochondria, we all have DNA, and we all have NRF2, and maybe some more. Our cells duplicate. It's true. Our cells die, they reduplicate, they replenish. This is what we need to know. And then the body is designed to heal and repair. So if you are treating symptoms, you're treating something going on in the body up here. But if you want to go back a step, and back another step, and back another step, that's what changed my life, and that's what changed Kim's life and hundreds of other people, thousands actually. We go back into the cells who are the building blocks. Those cells regenerate and duplicate like we showed you. That turns into healthier tissues, to healthier organs, to healthier systems. So we need to treat symptoms at times. But when we're doing okay, we need to go back and rebuild the body. And that's what we're going to talk about. So the genetic versus environment. There's a huge belief out there that it was all genetics. You all had the questionnaire that said, did your mom have this? Or your sister, your aunt? You guys, 5% of our expression of health is genetic. The other 95% is environmentally influenced. Do you know you have control over that environmental influence as much as you can? I don't know that we have full 95%, but I'm sure we got a good 75%. What kind of dent would that make in your life? So did you know the nutritional value of food has dropped dramatically since the 1950s, as much as 20 to 40%? There's a study by 1997 in UCLA. They compared spinach from 1953 to 1997, and we're in 2021. In 1997, you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach to equal the nutritional value of that one bowl in 1953. I can't even predict where we are today. Here's another environmental factor. We have added 85,000 chemicals since the Industrial Revolution, which was since the Civil War in 1865. Think about it. We have cell phones, we have typewriters, we have computers, we have cars, we have airplanes. We have all these great things that give us a cool quality of life, but at what cost? So they took umbilical cords of infants in 2005. They scanned them for 400 toxins. This blew my mind, you guys. They found 287 toxins in the umbilical cords. This is before these babies even have a chance to live outside. 217 of those are toxic to the brain and nervous system. That's us. 208 of those toxins cause birth defects and abnormal development. That's autism. That's a whole bunch of other things, right? And 180 of those, 287, cause cancer. It is time to make a difference. And that's the whole thing. All of this comes together under one huge umbrella called oxidative stress. So we talked about inflammation. So let me show you where that inflammation and why your body is creating that inflammation. Because this is our healthy cell. These are those toxins, those environmental, food, air, and water toxins, and emotional that we're having challenges with. It's attacked by free radicals. There is a damaged cell. Guess what's duplicating in your body? Now, this is the part I don't know and I don't get, but when we have this oxidative stress and it accumulates, why does it express in one person as multiple sclerosis, another person as lupus, another person as heart disease, another person as a brain? And I can't answer that. What I do know is that oxidative stress in a healthy cell is where we need to go to be able to help ourselves. So this is the problem. It's the food we eat, the water we drink, all of this comes together and we can make a difference in that. Oxidative stress can exhibit, like I said, in every organ of the body. And what I want to show you now is, don't believe me on any of this. Don't believe Kim. Don't believe you guys. You guys can find this out for yourself. This is the coolest thing ever. This is called PubMed.gov. And there's a lot of information on PubMed. But what I want to share with you, if you went into PubMed.gov, which is a library of medicine, and you type in oxidative stress, there are over 258,000 results. Each one of these studies can take up to 10 years for the completion. You know, that's not a cheap experiment. That's 10 years of people working on this. And then the cost. So you're looking at hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars per study. They've already done 258,000 studies. If I type in oxidative stress and multiple sclerosis, there's 1,300 results. You can go through and read these little synopsises, gather the information yourself. But I think what you're going to find is what I found. If we can get rid of lower oxidative stress, it will make a difference in the expression of what we are experiencing. So some of you may say, I don't have multiple sclerosis. You may say, I have optic neuritis. There's 33 articles. I have Guillain-Barré. There's 19 articles. I have cancer. There's 31,000 articles. Autism, 640 articles. Hashimoto's, 355. Do you get it, you guys? Do you get that this oxidative stress is at the base and it's a key player in so many aspects? And we have 2,400 results in infertility. So what does all this lead to? How do we lower this oxidative stress? We have the answers. We're in 2021. In 1999, they found it. It's called NRF2. It's a protein in our cell. All this science, whoever invited you on this can give you more information for that. Plus, we have more videos. I'm just tapping on the outside of this. So NRF2 activation is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. We didn't say that, Washington State did. This is further in that same study. Look at the inflammatory. Right here, raising NRF2 has been found to prevent or treat a large number of chronic inflammatory diseases. Boom, autoimmune, right there. And tons of others. What didn't they test, okay? So if I go in and I type in on that PubMed.gov again, NRF2 and multiple sclerosis, 213 articles. Do you think this is a big deal? It is. It is a huge deal. That's why I wanted to introduce you to this. I want to introduce you to another pathway, another part of our cell called mitochondria. It's called NRF1. Look what mitochondria affects: neurodegenerative diseases. These are things we need to be attacking. These are things that we need to take action on. So I type in NRF1 and multiple sclerosis. 4 results. Yeah, it's exciting. This is brand new science. That's why there aren't as many studies, but they are there. The last pathway I want to talk about is NAD. Look at this, neurotransmitter brain health. You guys, this is huge. This is what we need to be looking at. And there's more science in all of this. I type in NAD and multiple sclerosis. There's already 106 studies. I'm going to tap on a couple of other supplements that I think are super important that I participate and take every day. Probiotics, 113 results. Omega-3s, 135. Vitamin D, 1,500. Turmeric, 59. Now I'm going to make a note about the probiotics, the fish oil, the omegas, and the turmeric. We don't know what brand, what quantity, what quality they used for these studies. So when you go finding your own, you need to make sure you're looking for some certain things. And that's what I'm going to share with you, because in 2015, the New York City Attorney General went into Walgreens, GNC, Walmart, pulled the supplements off the shelf. 85% were not what they said they were. That's why you've got to be aware. So I think this is kind of interesting, but they had substances in them, including rice, beans, house plant, and wild carrot. I mean, come on, you guys. You need to be smart. You need to be a smart consumer so you're not wasting your money. So supplements, look for seals of approval. Buy from the manufacturer. Amazon and eBay, if they are high quality supplements, they are not to be sold on there per manufacturer clarifications. These are some of the clarifications and third-party validation I look for when I choose my supplements. Last thing I want to tap on, and I know I've given you a ton of information, and I hope that you can rewatch this and get the information you really need to glean from. Emotional stress is huge. You guys, when I couldn't fix my physical, I had to go into my emotional and learn about Eileen. And during my journey, I found some things. So for one thing, multiple sclerosis is about a miscommunication. Let's take that literally in our own lives. I was miscommunicating with people. I was miscommunicating with my own body. I was being hard on myself. I was telling myself negative self-talk. Those are all things I was doing which could have attributed to the stress to the multiple sclerosis. So this is a book that I picked up along the way. It's called Buried Feelings Alive, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. I can say that, right? If I look up in here multiple sclerosis, and this may resonate with you and it may not, but multiple sclerosis, unwilling to be flexible, unreceptive to new ideas, hard on self, blames self, incorrect use of will, unforgiving of self and others. Does that speak to you? Are those things that you've done in your life, possibly? Here's another book that I really like by Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. She says multiple sclerosis is mental hardness, hard-heartedness, iron will, inflexibility, and fear. So the way out, you guys, by choosing loving, joyous thoughts, create a loving, joyous world. I am safe and I am free. So those are just two of the things that I have done. I'm going to share with you a couple more. My favorite technique ever, you can do it at your own house, and that's why I love it. I don't have to pay a therapist for this. All you need is a paper and a pencil. You take that paper and your pencil. You can write down your sadness, write down your anger, write down your frustrations. Tell the paper how much you dislike this disease or what's going on in your life. You aren't going to be sharing this paper with anybody, you guys, but what you are going to do, you're going to get those feelings out of your body and onto that paper. And you must use a pencil because it's not synthetic. It is from Mother Earth. You take that paper and I want you to crinkle it up and find a safe place. And I want you to burn it. Because if you rip it up, that energy still exists. If you just toss it in the garbage can, that energy still exists. And will this rid you of all your challenges? No. But you know what? It's going to be a start to helping you feel better. And I can tell you more about that another time. So last thing that I'm going to share with you, this page, you can take a screenshot of it, PubMed.gov. Bruce Lipton has changed my life. Byron Katie. Activation. Talk to the person who brought you here. They can tell you all that information about the Nerf2, the Nerf1, the NAD, the probiotics, the fish oil, the omega-3s with the vitamin D, right? Nutraceuticals and extra supplements you may need. So I want you to just, I hope that has been helpful. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. And it's a gift that I get to share this information with you because I didn't think I could get better. I thought it was a crapshoot and I did not get the lucky cards. We all have the lucky cards within us because 95% of what we experience is environmentally induced. And that's why today is a present. So heal all sides of your triangle, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual, and have balance in all that you do. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I'm grateful I was able to share with you. And I look forward to talking more in the future. So before we close it out tonight, I'd like my friend Lillian Marita in Florida to share her experience and her story with her husband and what they went through just in the last few years. Lillian?
My husband was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome 8 years ago. And the difference with MS is that with Guillain-Barré, it's instantaneous. So the lesions or the progression of the disease that takes months or sometimes years with MS occurs within 24 hours in Guillain-Barré. So my husband went from being a normal person to not being able to walk, not even being able to open the cap of a water bottle because there was no strength, because the damage to the myelin sheath is just massive. So he did have a procedure done at the hospital, which so in Guillain-Barré, they believe it's a virus that's in the plasma of the blood. So they hook you to a machine that separates the plasma from the red blood cells. They give you donated plasma and they put your red blood cells back in, hoping that the body will calm down and not keep attacking itself, but the damage has already been done. So what we were told by the neurologist is that it would be 2 years before he could start walking again. So the gods and the guardian angels were aligned, and I learned about activation the day before he was diagnosed, actually. Talk about synchronicity. And so he started activation a week, by the time we got hold of the product. And like Eileen said, it was just the NRF2 activator. I sure wish we would have had the whole, all three activators at that time. But, and again, there's no treatment per se, because they say, well, the damage is already done. So what the neurologist said basically was go home and rehab. It'll be 2 years before you can walk again. And my husband started walking. We did do the rehab. My husband started walking at 6 months with a walker. And he's not 100%. He still has issues, but he's walking, he's working, he leads a pretty normal life. So we were lucky. We were lucky to find about this, because I can't imagine like it would have been like 6 months later, 10 years later. So my advice to those that are listening is this information is being brought to you. This information found you. Listen, pay attention, do your research, and then just go for it, because it is a gift. Just like what Eileen said, this is a gift for all your family. Right now, my dogs, our horse, everyone is activated. This is just a gift of life. It's a gift of getting your body to work like it was working when you were younger. And it's just amazing. So get with the person who invited you to this. If you're listening to the recording, get back with the person, and of course, get your questions answered. But, the sooner the better, especially if you have been diagnosed with a serious condition. This is just a blessing. So I just wanted to add that. And I agree 100% with the stress, because we thought we were leading a healthy life. We ate organic, we cook at home, we don't drink, we don't smoke. We didn't exercise, and I mean, we weren't like 100% like great, but we were doing a lot of things that you would consider healthy, and it wasn't enough. It's what Eileen said, is our environment is just full of so many toxins. Our bodies can't cope. So yes, stress and leading a healthy lifestyle is super important, but this is just this added boost that our bodies need so we can cope. So that I would just want to say that. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Lillian. And one thing that that I experienced, I have handicaps from all the demonetization and all the relapses I have. Like I can't lift my arm above my head, and I have some other challenges. But when you feel good inside, and like your husband, if you feel good inside, which is what I feel, you can deal with something that's not functioning properly. Kim told you I'm a pianist. I paid my way through college with piano scholarship. I can't play piano like I used to, but it's okay because I feel good inside. And so that's what I want to share with people. When you feel good, you can deal with the little mishaps of life, of what they bring. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I learn every time you open your mouth, Eileen, I truly learn a lot. And I want to leave everybody with a quote.
Okay.
When you have your health, you have 1,000 dreams and unlimited possibilities. And so what we hope we did tonight, and we'll continue to do until we're sharing the gift of hope, and that you can have a life of 1,000 dreams. Let me welcome everybody.